All right. The legendary Rigan Machado.
What a pleasure, bro.
Man.
It's a history here.
Oh, my God. Last time we hung out, they were filming the Fast and the Furious. Was it 7?
I think it was Fast and Furious 7. It was funny because I think Valentino is a student, right?
Right.
His kids training for you.
Right.
And Valentino was calm. They have a little problem to put together a fight between Jason Statham and Vin Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Jeff Amada called me to say, Rigan, come down. Vin Diesel like you. He want to brainstorm to figure out this problem. It was a little problem because Jason Statham, he don't like to lose the fight. They have to figure out to do a fight look 50-50.
Right.
That was the only thing you have to fix. The fight, every fight we did, it's funny because when they did the editing, they cut the whole fight scene.
I remember the stunt doubles were practicing for 2 weeks, right?
Sorry about that.
No problem. They were practicing for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And they kept changing. And
this industry is very interesting because when you put two big stars together, always gonna have some friction, some problem, but end up come out amazing. Yeah. To have a chance to meet Jason Statham was super cool. He's an amazing guy. He trains jiu-jitsu. He trained with you?
Jason Statham?
Yeah.
No. I think
he's in England. Huh?
England, right? New York, maybe.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, amazing. Man, so going back, my first memory of you was the 1996, the Pan Americans. And you were the Bushesha now, I mean, man, the guy, you got double gold. I remember that day.
Yeah. It was I think it was the weight in the open class. It was the Pan Am. Well, the problem I have, I want to go to Brazil. I always talk to Carlos Gracie Jr. And Carlos Gracie asked me to come to fight the World Championship in Brazil. But at the time I couldn't because I have the paperwork going through immigration. I couldn't leave the U.S. because I'm going to the green card on work permission to try get the green card. And Carlos called me, let's do like this. I bring the two best fighters to fight you. I think at the time it was Jamelão was doing really good, Roleta. And when he told me that was I have 2 weeks to train. I was okay in shape, but not top shape.
Yeah.
I fought more strategic because I didn't know I'm gonna have how many fights I'm gonna have.
Right.
And basically I scored the points around the beginning because I knew Roleta have a good guard. And after this Jamelão, I knew I was big. I keep putting the pressure. He's gonna They're gonna be able to beat you. Jamelão was smaller than me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But very strategic fighters at the time. It's kind of nice, né? But when I came to United States, I started slow down competition. I used to be very aggressive and active before I came. When I came here, little by little, we didn't have the same practice like you used to have in Brazil. But over here was good start. I have little by little my brother start come. Instead of training 90%, I start teach 70%, train 30%. I start try keep competing in wrestling, whatever I couldn't find, judo, sambo, to keep the spirit alive. You know?
Yeah.
But it was good for Jean-Jacques phase because Jean-Jacques have opportunity to start fighting in Abu Dhabi. Was good for Jean-Jacques to get good exposure. Because I remember when Jean-Jacques came to United States, before he came, he just got his black belt. And was very good phase for Jean-Jacques in America. I think me, my Carlos, because we're the oldest one, we kind of start slow down in competition mode. You know what I mean? My other brother, Roger, he compete less. In Brazil, he compete a little bit, but not, more like a teacher. My younger brother competed a lot in Brazil, but have kids very early age. He slowed down in competition. Was a good time, USA.
Tell me about the old Brazil stories. I always love to hear the origins. You know, like how was it? Because you guys came from like Carlos was them in Rio de Janeiro, like growing up doing jiu-jitsu.
Yes, I tell the story. I was start with me. I always end up starting for me for some reason. Growing up, I have a problem, two problems. One, health was asthma, very big problem of asthma. The second problem, I have a big problem with dyslexia.
Interesting.
I have a real big problem. I couldn't speak right. And for me and my brothers, I have a big problem to learn in school. And for a lot of people don't know, Carlos Gracie was a doctor. And he married the sister of my mother. Carlos Gracie come to my mother and said, let me take care of this kid. I'm going to help his health. Basically, I moved from a small city to a big city to live with Carlos Gracie. And my cousins. From there, I start training jiu-jitsu with Carson and Halls. Carson and Halls have a school together, like brothers now, in Copacabana. And I doing swimming twice a day, doing the Gracie diet, and going to a specific school for dyslexia to figure out how what's the problem, why. And by training like this, very consistent, I come to a point. Carson Hall said, "This kid is doing okay. You have to pick one. You can't train it with Carson and me. You have to choose." Because I was closer to the kids of Carlos, Carlos Gracie Jr, Rorion Gracie. I ended up training with Carlos Gracie, and Hall's assistant was Jacaré. Carlos Gracie Jr, Mauricio Gomes, Márcio Stambovsky, who was, and basically this was the top guys from Halls at the time. And I started training for them. Basically, when the Halls died, everybody left. I was the only guy stay with Carlos Gracie Jr. Basically, like 90% left. Everybody went to training for Rickson, because at the time Rickson was the champ. And for me, it was perfect because Carlos Gracie dedicated 100% to try get me the best I could to represent at the time Barra Gracie. Carlos Gracie Jr. And basically, I start winning. Start beating all Carlos Gracie students. I start beating all Rickson students. But start beating, no stop, boom, boom. That's the two major challenge.
The Carlos Gracie against the Carlos Gracie students.
Carlos Gracie was the major rival.
Yeah.
Which I think Carlos Gracie have the best talent. The strongest, I think Hollies have more the technician type of guys. Guys very technical, very... but I think Carlos Gracie have the toughest guys. I don't believe Carlos Gracie have students better techniques than Carlos and Halls. But I think Carlos, the way he coached the guys in competition was very aggressive. Not Carlos students don't come 100% after you. That was a good for competition. Carlos was a very good coach for competition. I think he was a good challenge for Carlos Gracie's team at the time. But when Carlos died, I became the number one guy from Carlos Gracie Jr. to fight against Carlos students and Rickson Gracie students, the other schools, but that was the two major schools. And I beat everybody. I beat all the Carlos Gracie top students. I beat all Rickson students. I ended up fighting with Rickson. Have one guy who was very tough. Who was his right-hand guy, one of his top students, Marcelo Bering. I beat Marcelo Bering in competition 3 times. Carson, all his top guys, at the time competition who I fought I beat. Was based like I dominate the competition for 9 years, no loss. I did almost 365 fights, no loss. One day I have 19 fights. The day I have 19 fights was when there was purple belt. I was younger, I able to fight in junior division and adult division, but I fought in the weight and the open class in both. I remember the time Helio Gracie said, you can fight both, no problem. And
he said Gracie, you can't fight?
He said it was okay.
That's okay.
And but ended up fighting a lot. I didn't know I have too many fights like that, but end up submit all the 19 fights and people start pay attention, like who the fuck is this kid who doing that well? And this new sponsors company, the owner was a guy named Mauro Talben, who died later, but he was the first guy who got the interest to sponsor jiu-jitsu competitions. He created this Copa company, who was the first big event who he put in this a lot of money, posters, market, got a big exposure in national TV, and was a big event. And the event was packed, everybody watching. The gymnasium didn't have one seat left, right? And I remember when they finished
that was before the Worlds, huh? The first World Championship?
Yes.
Some years before.
Yes. This was the event ended up fighting Rickson because the problem, Rickson supposed to fight a guy named Ricardo, which nickname Americano at the time, was a phenomenal competitor, good judo guy.
Yeah.
But he hurt his shoulder. And I supposed to fight a guy who I won 3 times before, was Palhares. And what happened, the sponsor was not happy because it was the last day event and the media come to cover. And Hallie said, we need to put a show. We need to put a show. You don't have a choice. And I ended up talk to Rickson. And Rickson in the beginning said, I'm not going to fight Rigan. He basically my student. Come to train for me twice a year for years. And he come to me and said, I'm not going to fight Rickson. But the organization said, we need the fight because that's the only fight that's going to be important for the sport. You're not fighting for you. Fighting for the sport. That's the moment you guys have to fight. And Rickson came to me and he said, Rigan, we're going to have to fight. I said, Rickson, I love you, my coach. It would be my honor to go over there to raise your hand, but in case you ask me to fight, I will fight. I'm not going to look at you as my cousin. And Rickson looked to me, okay, let's go. Let's go to a war. And I said, okay, let's go to a war. And that's what happened. That's why people like, because we come for war. Even beside he being my cousin and stuff, we realized, you know what? We got to fight. And you got to fight, let's fight. And it's funny because when you step the ring, he want to kill me, I want to kill him. In that kind of fight, which I love it because it's a kind of fight like nothing hold back. We didn't care about points. We care like, I will submit you. My goal was to throw his head on the ground. I brought the animal who was good to have. And because that, we come to a war. But what I learned that day through Rickson is the most strategic fight. A lot of people don't know about that, but Rickson is the most strategic fighter I have opportunity to fight against because he realized the beginning I'm gonna come like a bullet, and one thing Rickson is very strong is he survived the attacks. You come after him like I'm gonna submit. He keep escaping, but he escape come after you. He don't let you breathe. And after a while, I realized he start winning inch by inch. Longer the fight I go, I realized by feeling the fight, that's what make it different from at the time of fighting Rickson. Was the experience of a strategic who was missing a little bit in my game, because at the time I fought him, I just turned 18. I was 17, turned 18. And Hicks was around 26. He was stronger. I still not massive. I never feel like stronger like Hicks. I have the ability, I have the endurance, but I learned so much that day to fight Hicks. It's amazing because company is gonna restart again the events in Brazil. If they come, they wanna give me a war, like company create this fight of the century, and they wanna give one to Hicks and one for me for that fight, because that's one of the fights a lot of people talking about. The fight between Rigan, Rickson, the cousin, the coach, the student, two cousins. This was a good buzz for the history for the sport.
History.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good experience. Even like somebody asked, you have opportunity to fight. Even like when they come bigger, stronger, better athlete, better everything. People ask, do you have a chance to fight Rickson again? With today conditions, you big and stronger, everything. I said, no. I'm going to tell why. Because Rickson, for me, was not like just a fight as some athlete. Rickson for me was a mentor in Ohio who gave me what I need to grow on the sport. And for me, I said, it's not going to build me up more than what I am. You know what I mean? I like to keep the mentor alive in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The admiration and respect for somebody who helped so much in my history on the jiu-jitsu. He used to teach me 4 years for free, never charged me a dime.
Yeah.
He wake up 6 in the morning to teach me and Jean-Jacques. And today we're very close. We become very good friends. He's very close to my younger brother Jean-Jacques. They always train and talk and stuff like that. Rickson, for me, is still a phenomenal library of technology, history, details. I have a lot of respect for Rickson.
Reminds me of there was a documentary series on Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And Kobe Bryant had a piece in it, and they tried to compare the greatest of all time.
Yes.
And Kobe Bryant's like, they tried to compare us, me and Michael Jordan, but there would be no Kobe Bryant if there wasn't Michael Jordan, because he shared with him, he showed him some things.
Yes.
So
I think to have the opportunity to battle with Rickson in his best time, for me, was a good experience as an athlete to go and fight at the time the number one of the country and don't back up. Like, let's go to war. I think the reason I come success as an athlete, for some reason I got addicted to that kind of feeling, because I didn't care much about medals or titles. What I care, what Carlos and Hollis like me, even Carlos Gracie like me, I want to go to war. I want to find the guy across the street, across the mat, look in my eye like, want to kill me, I want to kill him. We go to the mat, we go to war, and the pleasure of the victory after what I was addicted. You're only able to get the feeling by going to a real good war. Sometimes I go on the mat, I get somebody who you feel don't want to fight you, and you go over there, you beat him, and I couldn't get any pleasure. Says, okay, that's like a training that kind.
Yeah.
But when you get the guys from Castro, the guys Marcel Bering, all these amazing, at the time, the best what they have at the time, I love it. I said, man, let's go. Yeah. Let's go have fun.
I got a little bit of taste of this era of Carlos Gracie. Like, it seemed like he wanted to do everything he could do to smash Carlos Gracie Jr. guys, at the tournaments. And then the vice versa, Carlos Gracie Jr., like, disliked, not disliked, right? But it was a good rivalry. It brought out the best in everybody.
Was a healthy rival.
Brought out the best of everybody.
I think it was, the beginning was Carlos, the biggest rival was Carlos Gracie against Carlos Gracie. After this, come a rival between Carlos against Carlos Gracie Jr. and Rickson Gracie group. And little by little start create like these guys from North Rio. They come out the idea to get like 200 small schools and create a team. And they create the new union.
Novo União, yeah.
Yeah, these guys collect all the best guys from 200 academies and create the new union. It become a new big rival. Because it's not one school, it's 200 little schools. And they start select the best guys. I remember have André Pernanez come on, the top guys from CAS. He used to be a student of CAS. He come on the top guys. If you're another guy, they create this stuff. After this was nice because one the whole student guy who I grew up training the same team was Jacaré. He little by little create Aliança. E Aliança come a big rival against Barra Gracie, some of the other academy. From Aliança start break down a piece, create actors, create checkmate, create all these little things, which is the nature, né? And it's kind of interesting to see other groups coming. You know what I mean? Now Atos to come piece of Aliança. But it's very the sport right now is amazing.
The guys, they're phenomenal, huh? The athletes.
Is the level of athletes step up like 5 levels up. I think you start compare the level of the athletes. It's like the same level of the athletes of UFC. You see the guys training 3-4 trainers, and super nutrition, super weight training, super this, super that, and have great performances. I think I remember I was watching won the World Championship. I think I saw this picture. When the guys finished the fight, he opened the screen. I forgot his name, but he opened after winning the titles. Open, he was
flexing, shredded.
I look like a bodybuilder. So, oh God, that level is up because these athletes now are super athletes, you know. And to see how the rules change from, because at the time I used to compete was points, now I have points and vantage. Into now the athletes get so super athletes, they don't fight much to points, they fight for little vantage. I've seen guys come a world champion with 2 vantage, 2 this, to do that. You know what I mean? It's amazing to see the evolution of Abu Dhabi. To have a chance to see now this evolution of no gi, who create this balance in jiu-jitsu, gi, jiu-jitsu no gi, and now create all this academy who plan Hollywood only do no gi.
Right. Eddie
For
Bravo,
me, Eddie Bravo, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. How did you get into sambo? You know, you did sambo too.
Sambo. I have a friend from Australia who was teaching the garage. I used to teach in the garage with Royce and Rickson. Before they opened UFC, before they opened...
Here in the U.S., I see.
Yeah. When they used to teach in the garage, have this Australian guy who owned a magazine in Australia called Blitz. And he was doing an article about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And one day, Rorion couldn't teach him. He asked me to teach him. When I was teaching him, he said, "Rigan, I wanna pay your tickets. I wanna sign you up to fight sambo." And I jump on the plane and said, "Let's go over there. Let's compete." On the plane, he explained the rules. When I got over there, I ended up meeting everybody. In the finals, this guy touched my shoulder. Looked back, was a judo guy. I think he won some world championship in sambo. He named me Round Trip. And he said, "Oh, you're going to fight me." I said, "Okay, let's fight. Let's go." Yeah, I think I beat him 48 seconds or something like that. Yeah, armbar. And after this, he told me he fought Rickson. He won Rickson in sambo.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it. I said, "Wow, I didn't know that." And we become friends he come to me, he paid my tickets to go to Europe to fight the World Championship, the World Cup. And I went to the World Cup. I submit everybody. When I got to the finals against the Russian, the referee kind of tricked me. I think he tricked me because he said to me, you bring the fight to the ground, you get disqualified automatically. The whole fight on the final have to be standing. Was not true.
Yeah.
I realized, oh shit, I go to the fight, I'm going to try to throw the guy, I don't have a choice. And I played the judo game. And the guy ended up winning by vantage, the Russian guy and stuff. And for me, I was a silver medalist. After this, I went to fight the World Games, and up bronze. After this, I fought the World Cup again. But the third time I fought, I won. I submit everybody. I won the gold medal and stuff. But after this, I quit because I have opportunity. Jiu-Jitsu start coming back to America. And that's when I went back to fight the Pan America a couple times and stuff like that.
The Joe Moreira tournaments, right? There was it the first one?
I fought one time the one guy named Leo Dalla won the events. A few other guys, I think. But Leo Dalla was what a character. I got him every submission. You couldn't get him. He hold his arm. I said, man, what an athlete. I got respect for him because you fought the guy resist.
Yeah.
And survive all your attacks.
Didn't give up.
Yeah. But it was a good time for Jiu-Jitsu. That phase of beginning of Jiu-Jitsu. I remember you. We went to Brazil. You were blue belt. We went to train Barra Gracie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rico Rodriguez was there.
Rico Rodriguez.
He was headlocking everybody and tapping them out.
Rico Rodriguez was a carrot, or a carrot. I met Rico Rodriguez at Gold Gym. He weighed 340 pounds.
Yeah.
Was this big wrestler, high school wrestler. And he came to the academy. I put him to training for one of my students, Fernando Vasconcelos, who was one of my top students.
Yeah, I remember him. World champion.
Yeah. And Fernando Vasconcelos choking him, he passed out on top of him. Fernando, hey, he can take him. He's passed out. I can't breathe. Take him out of me. And I pull.
Over 300 pounds on top of you.
He said, man, this guy's too big. It sounded like he started training. After 3 months, my brother said, let's go to Brazil. I'm going to put you to compete. Just do your wrestling throw. You get the guy in the headlock.
Yeah.
He only knew how to do that. 3 months.
Yeah.
And we gave him, Jean-Jacques gave him a blue belt. He went to Brazil. He won. Everybody in heavyweight.
He won the absolute blue belt, yeah.
Yeah, right. He won. He was so happy. After this was amazing because he started training. He went to Abu Dhabi, and he beat everybody. He ended up even get one of the Minotaur brothers on the leg lock. He had
which brother?
Minotaur.
Minotaur, yeah, Minotaur brothers.
I don't know was Minotaur or his brother. Which one he fought? He got
either one, right?
But he ended up submitting, win Abu Dhabi, and stuff like that. After this, he started training Makar, and they start get ready, start fighting for UFC. He ended up winning the title against Ren Couture.
Right.
And he beat Ren Couture and got the title as a heavyweight. After this, he lost the title. Rick Rodriguez was a special guy.
Yeah.
He won World Championships. He won Abu Dhabi. He won UFC.
It seems like in 1 year almost, it seemed like
I think Rico Rodriguez, I think the problem with Rico Rodriguez, he loved to have a great time. He sometimes trained very hard, party very hard.
Yeah.
That kind of, you can mix these two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you choose to be an athlete or to have a great time.
I remember him, he won the Blue Belt Worlds, and then I think he won the purple, and then they started to, politics in the tournaments, kind of, he went against Terere, and whatever they could do to make sure. He was a big guy, so it was kind of against jiu-jitsu, right?
Man, I remember one fight he did in Abu Dhabi. Oh, my God. He fought Marcelo Garcia.
I remember that, 2007, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I remember
beast.
Marcelo Garcia got his back. I thought Marcelo Garcia hurt, almost got knocked out. He
Right.
jumped.
Right. I remember that.
Marcelo Garcia got his back. He stand up. He jumped, throwing all his weight on top of Marcelo Garcia. The Prince got so mad. I almost qualified and stuff like that. Yeah. But Rigo Rodriguez was a good
it's
student.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
Phenom.
he was a great guy.
Phenom. To win the worlds. I mean, even if because he didn't do it at black belt, but you know, I mean, he probably would have if they would have let him. You know, just because of the way he was doing it. 80cc, which is it was the Olympics, right, of grappling,
Yes.
and then the UFC title.
The beginning of UFC, the ADCs changed a lot because the idea of the Prince was to have a mix of grappling. You want to bring all different kind of style of grappling. But you realize today 99% of the guys, all jiu-jitsu guys,
Right.
come like Abu Dhabi is not more about sambo against jiu-jitsu, this and that. It's more about grappling, jiu-jitsu guy. You don't see all the styles, tri-step on the Abu Dhabi like in the beginning.
Right.
Like same like in the beginning of UFC, you see all this mix, horse fight 8 guys one night, 4 fights one night to be a champion. And today you see all the guys specific like sharp fighters, know
Right.
everything. And that's the same happened to grappling in Abu Dhabi. It's like
Well-rounded.
yeah, everybody is a grappler, is a jiu-jitsu guy.
Have takedowns, have
Yeah.
this, have that. Top and bottom.
Yeah, the evolution is amazing.
Yeah. I was going to ask you a question about what you think about the gi, like, because you mentioned like the ADCC, most of the guys, they come from a gi background, and your opinion on training with the gi and without the gi.
I'm going to tell exactly what Carlos Gracie told me. When we train in Brazil, we think he used to explain the translation of jiu-jitsu in Brazil is the same grappling here, like Carlos explained. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. You put me to fight jiu-jitsu sport rules, I will fight jiu-jitsu sport rules. You put me to fight MMA, I'm going to adapt my grappling for the MMA. You put me to take my gi, I fight my grappling, my jiu-jitsu in the grappling event. He just tried to generally to be a grappler who can play the different rules in different style. I think it's very interesting because today when they teach, I like to teach the no gi more. But I still 70% of my students want to learn from the gi. And basically, like I keep the gi alive. I'm very passionate. But my passion today, I love no gi a lot. You know what I mean? In case I have chance to go back in time, I think I wish I have more in my history, more no gi competition at the beginning of my history, because I love no gi. I love it. I think the wrestling mix, the takedowns, the different ways, you're more free to play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the gi gives you so much tools like spider guard game, put like now all this lapel, hold the legs, the warm guard, all these little things is amazing. It's amazing. But like as a teacher, I have to keep learning both.
Both, yeah.
I'm consistent learning. It's funny because I think it was in New Zealand. In the middle of the seminar, one guy come, said, "Paul, Master Rigan, show me some berimbolo techniques." Look, what did you say? A berimbolo. I said, what the fuck is berimbolo? I don't know that shit. You know what I mean? If for me, I got upset, I have to come back and say, Jean-Jacques, what do you know about this berimbolo techniques? Jean-Jacques, come here, show you some the things I learned, blah, blah, blah. He talking about the Mendes brothers, Mendes and the two brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, e basic start adapt. Like same like John Donahue from Renzo, who training all his students, all these loop in jiu-jitsu, this hole in jiu-jitsu, who was created to the rules of ABJJF, not allowed to do
Right.
heel hooks. And a lot of the academies don't even teach you heel
Right.
hooks or attack. And when the Abu Dhabi start growing, in the no-gi competition, at the Bravo Invitational, all that, the leg lock come a weakness.
Right.
That's what happened when a lot of this new generation, the new jiu-jitsu guys, fought to Abu Dhabi, surprised a lot of the other jiu-jitsu guys because they not used to it. Say, what the hell? These guys go straight. I want to pass my guy. He want to attack my leg. And Gordon Ryan, some the other competitors start winning some of the best jiu-jitsu guys by using this kind of the game. Who I believe it was a big hole on the because the rules of the sport jiu-jitsu. And I think it's kind of interesting because I have to really learn and educate myself to explain to my students. You have to play the guard against somebody who do leg locks, have to change. All this change is, I think, is very important because it's the evolution. You want to keep yourself up to date to teaching this and that. You have to be a consistent, humble student. You know what I mean? I don't believe in never know enough. I think I always have the new generation who come with good techniques or good method of training, new drills. Say, man, I'm open to learn. You know.
You mentioned Barambolo, and I remember I learned a Barambolo counter technique from I think it was from you or one of your students. You know, Barambolo to lock the leg in. Really nice technique. Yeah,
it's funny because it's a chess game, you
right?
know, the chess game of jiu-jitsu. What keep me alive? You know what I mean? I love it. I love to sit down with some of my students and play around. They say, "Show me this, show me that." Always have some guys who explain something new I don't even know. That for me is amazing.
Yeah. You said you wish you would have done more no-gi tournaments. I think they probably didn't have those tournaments right in your day.
No. One of my biggest passion was wrestling. In Brazil, I never have the opportunity. I trained judo. I trained judo for a point. I try out for the Olympic team one time. I did all kinds of little things. But the no-gi wrestling, when I start have opportunity, I start training. I fall in love right away. I training first in some people in high school, college, have a chance to train with some of the Olympia centers and to training camps with some of the best guys in this wrestling. I start to see a complete different world in which I start falling in love. And I start like, man, I love this. And to have a chance to bring this to no-gi, jiu-jitsu, I love it. I mean, let's bring the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu is going to be awesome. And it's kind of amazing because when you train with a real good wrestlers, I remember the balance was fantastic. Even I try do some sweeps on the guy.
Their athleticism, huh?
Yeah, the ability and the balance. Because in the game, they put the back on the ground, they lose points. And basically said, I want my students to get this balance. I want to adapt some of these wrestling ideas to training some of the athletes I have. And it's amazing.
Yeah. You know, gi, no gi, and then MMA. Did you ever think about doing MMA?
I did some Vale Tudo in the past.
Oh, you did?
I did maybe 16 fights. And I did amateur boxing when I was younger. But come to a point, it's too many stuff. I remember the amateur box. I trained with two guys. I trained with a guy from Argentina who I love it. And this guy was more like, you punch me once, I punch you twice. You know what I mean? He's kind, every time somebody comes to punch you, counter punch him 2 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was basically his style of teaching. After this, I get another guy who I love. He was more technician, more like a strategic box fighter, which was a Brazilian guy who who used to be a phenomenal fighter, good coach. And I start have this opportunity to train with these guys and practice. I love boxing. I think box for me is another passion.
Yeah.
I wish on the past I have more opportunity to do it. The MMA at the time, the Valitude, was not too much my passion. I didn't like the beginning of MMA, the Valitude I did. I really punched somebody on the face and no gloves. And I fought sometimes some guys on the cement and finished the fight, blood everywhere.
Yeah.
These in the beginning was not like what is today. Gloves, like
Right.
Today is more like a sport MMA.
Right.
At the time, it's a street fight,
Yeah.
which you put a speed.
Headbutts.
Know what I mean? I think the only thing maybe is not allowed is to bite or grab the balls or something like that. But the rest was allowed to do. But this kind of fight I fought at the time because I want to get more experience to know what a real fight is about. I didn't have enough fights on the street to understand what a street fight is. For me, when I fought some of the Valitude, like a lot of times in closed doors, was more like I want to feel what it is to get punched on the face, to punch somebody on the face. You know what I mean?
Carlos Gracie Jr. he didn't like support the fighting things, right? The Valtudo things.
He in the beginning maybe he not, but after a while
I saw him at Henzo's fight,
yeah.
the big international fight that he did, the 3 fights in one night.
Yes. Yeah.
Forgot the name of the event, but
I don't remember yet.
I was trying to. But I was just curious, who helped you for your Valtudo fights? Who helped you prepare? How did you?
Rillion Gracie. Rillion
Okay.
Gracie for me was the main guy for my street fighter coach. Rillion
Was Hanzo around at those times?
No, Hanzo was younger.
Okay.
When there was black belt, Hanzo was at the time blue belt. I was a little bit more advanced than Hanzo in the beginning. I love Hanzo growing up. Hanzo have this leadership. And he was a very interesting character growing up. He never back up for a fight. I never seen Hanzo not back up a fight. I see Hanzo fight guys twice his side and didn't give a shit. He have not just him, but I saw Half. I saw Haya. Haya Grace was a very interesting character. For me, I think he had the wise ability to fight on the street who I don't have at all. You know what I mean? I think like the street, you put him in the street to fight, I think I'd be more like focused. Oh, I'm going to take you down and try to choke you. Not like the street has changed the strategic a lot. There's not much rules. And to get guys who is very wise on the street and in a fight was something I learned a lot actually from Renzo. I learned a lot for some my cousins who have more experience. But after a while, I started learning how to be a little bit wise and defend myself on the street. I remember have fights. I have all my cousins. I have Royce, Hoyler, Rillion, Renzo, my brothers. It's like very interesting. Like they grow up together. We have a lot of street fights. Yeah, like it was very unique. I seen my little brothers fight. John was very unique to grow up to see all these brothers real fight. It's kind of cool to see like my younger brother choke somebody. Say, oh shit, my little boy is doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so crazy, that it started from he's just fighting neighborhood, right, to all over the world now.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the evolution. I remember the beginning, I was sitting on the table with people talking about to create the UFC. That was a fantastic time. I think the key guy.
What year did you come to the U.S.?
1989 or something.
89, that early. Okay.
Or 1990.
I was always wondering why I didn't see you at the Worlds, in those early days,
No, the problem, the World Championship in the beginning, the first 3 or 4 events, I went through a difficult time for the paperwork.
The visa, right?
The visa.
Yeah.
And that's when Carlos said, no, I bring the fighters to you. The first year he brought a couple guys. The next year went to Hawaii, fought other guys. Right. After this, I started slow down. My brothers and Jack started, the younger, start going more competition, come success in Abu Dhabi. But have a time you start slow down. It's not like, same like Rickson or myself, we fought for so many years. Come to a point like, okay, let's focus on what? Coaching. You know what I mean? Rickson did some fights, MMA, but after this, when you get close to your 40s, you say, man, what's next? You know what I mean? It's time for the new generation. It's like the new generation, 20 years younger, fighting. Train 6 hours a day. I can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? When you get to a 40, you want to train less and less. That's the problem. The competition is the easy part, but the time you want to put on the mat is like the Carlos Gracie used to tell him, the 2 things going to make you a champ: hours on the mat and hours in competition. You do that, you'll be okay. But
I mean, I'm sure too, like when I think about you, like you're at the top of the food chain, like how do you keep motivated to want to keep proving, that,
yes,
you can't lose motivation from that aspect?
I think after a while you start try to do different challenge. You start like create like different opportunities.
Right.
And I think was interesting because I start little by little try find like different ways to challenge myself. You know what I mean? And I feel very lucky for this career from Brazil to come to United States, to all these opportunities, to be in over 100 countries.
You have books. You have like you were doing seminars all over the world, like students of yours.
I did over 700 seminars.
700 seminars.
700 in over 100 countries.
In over 100 countries.
Over 35 years doing
35 years.
to 36 years doing seminars, book, teaching. It's like example, only in Australia I've been 26 times.
Amazing.
It's like amazing. The only reason I didn't go to Australia this year because the corona.
Oh, you go every year, pretty much.
I used to go. I do an event over there. It's called one of my black belts called Will Machado. Basically, like we started 300 athletes. Now we have over 1,000 athletes. Just Australia.
Yeah.
We have a couple hundred black belts there, which I do a seminar for the black belts. After this, for the athletes and for the beginners. Basically, come like 300 or 400 people for the seminars, for the 3 or 4 days. Once a while, we do camps. You know what I mean? Camps go. Australia go crazy. I did the same thing. South Korea was pretty successful. I have the first black belt in South Korea. Every time I go over there, I have a couple hundred black belts. Thousands of guys. We do once a year. Machado, something, and have over 1,000 competitors competing. It's kind of nice to see the evolution from the first time you come. Only have Brazil,
right.
USA. Now we
because like I know some of your students. They're your direct students. Like I'm Brian Johnson from Washington State, but there's some really good black belts that people maybe they don't use the Machado name, but they're students of yours or that lineage, and they beat top Brazilian guys, legendary guys.
We have guys like Ed Bravo, who was a student of Jean-Jacques. And he beat Hoyer in Abu Dhabi. I was shocked. I said, Joe Rogan was next to me, and Joe Rogan looked at me like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, Joe Rogan looked at what the hell happened.
Joe Rogan said, man, he's flexible. I don't know. because it's funny because before the fight, Jean-Jacques was not there. Jean-Jacques keep the eye on my student at the Bravo. I said, sure. I said, at Bravo, you need any help? And he said, no, just come on the corner. Yeah, I came with Joe Hogan. Joe Hogan and me come on the corner. And I remember Royler came to me, what's up with your student? Something like that.
He's trying to get information.
Yes, I don't know much because it's not my student. Jean-Jacques' student. He trained most Jean-Jacques. He said, okay, good. Yeah, I don't think he looked at Bravo.
You underestimated him.
He take him serious. Because he was worried more about Léo Vieira or some of the other guys. He said it's gonna be more like a war for him. But he won like 4 Abu Dhabi straight. People don't know.
He was undefeated.
He was one
the king of featherweight. When the gi and no gi, the best in the world.
Royler over there. But what happened to Eddie Bravo, people don't realize. He's so flexible. So flexible. He like this rubber guard, which I think the pioneer was Nino. Nino was the pioneer. And Eddie Bravo was so flexible. I remember he wrapped the arm and he started doing his rubber guard. And Royler is super flex. Royler, most of the time, sometimes the guys almost get him, but because he's super flex, escape. But that day at the Bravo was more, I believe the flexibility of Ed Bravo was even bigger than Royler. Was not the, I think he got surprised because when he get caught, it was so tight. It was the first time I see Royler tap it for a lightweight. I never seen he.
Yeah, for sure.
I seen he tap for bigger guys.
Yeah, Morris Barrier.
But never for lightweight.
Yeah,
I
his
think
weight.
Eddie Bravo.
His weight.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was untouchable. And what's crazy about Eddie Bravo too is I've known him since he was blue belt also, is that he was like a hobby guy, right? Music but he loved jiu-jitsu. Yeah, of course hobby, but he did it every day. He was immersed, you know.
Eddie Bravo.
But he started later in life. He wasn't like a kid growing up.
I remember when I met him. He always very nice. Always
for sure.
Talk. He always with Joe Hogan, even when he was beginning jiu-jitsu. And best friends, like 2 dudes, like hang out all the time. But Eddie Bravo, he always stay extra time at the academy. I remember that. I give him the credit because he trained. He always come out with some crazy techniques. What do you think about
And he would share with everybody too.
And I said, Bravo. I remember one time he asked, I think he was a blue belt, what do you think about this tech? I said, Bravo, my philosophy is like this. You go to the competition. You're able to do it. I love it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's like, looked too crazy for me, but he went to the competition. He did.
And he did it.
And he submitted like 3 fights and said, Bravo, this technique is good. Was the twister or something.
Right.
He submitted the 3 guys, 3 tough guys. He said, man, this Ed Bravo is unique. And Jean-Jacques said, he's unique. It's like every 100 students have maybe one Ed Bravo. Ed Bravo was the very unique guy who do a lot of different stuff. The rubber guard, he capitalized well for his flexibility. And it was very interesting how well he discovered a loop on the jiu-jitsu game. And that loop of the rubber guard gave him an extra leverage a lot against some of the jiu-jitsu guys because a lot of guys didn't expect somebody flexible to come and put the foot, the omoplata.
I mean,
that come his trademark.
Unbelievable that what he did with Carlos Gracie. You can't take that away from him.
He created the technique electrical chair. Was watching Royler. Fought him. He stretched because Royler is super flexible. I saw that.
The second time you're talking about?
The second time.
I
look like a Royler.
I mean, man, the first one,
the flexibility for Royler was unbelievable.
But the first one, right? You're like, oh, it's not the fluke, but the fact that you would think that he would respect him the second time.
I agree. I think Royler is a warrior, but I think Royler been fighting.
For sure.
I think Royler did the right thing. I said, man, it's time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Less than usual. I think Royler was 10 years or 15 years.
No, for sure. Top of the food chain. Top.
No, older than.
Right.
But Ed Bravo was a very unique guy. I think what he created by creating his event at Bravo Invitation to create the planet.
10th planet, yeah.
10th planet, I think was very unique, something new, fresh. And I see a lot of these.
Good for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, this is good for the sport.
Yeah.
It's good to have an American guy with different ideas to bring, because give a variety for people to learn.
Right.
The bottom line, everything comes from this. It's the same thing in some way. But it's good to have different ideas, different open mind,
yeah.
You know what I mean, who come out with something fresh. That's why the guys over there in New York, that John Danahoe, I'm a big fan of him, because he's unique. He remind me of the Bravo in some way. He's this guy who come out with a different vision of how he's going to train a lot of his fighters. And he manufactured these fighters. And these fighters start delivering. And that is amazing. I'm super happy to have guys like that who keep open people's mind to learn. For me, that's why I love jiu-jitsu, because I say, man, keep learning.
Never stops, right?
Yeah,
always open-minded, always learning.
Yes.
Yeah. How did your whole training celebrities? You train Keanu Reeves, Sam get belted. How did that whole? I mean, there was Chuck Norris. I remember seeing old pictures.
Can I tell one thing? I never liked Hollywood. I think what happened to me in the industry. I met Chuck Norris, and I met Steve Seagal, and I met a lot of these guys. I started doing some things here and there, but it was not my cup of tea. But when they opened school in Beverly Hills, I have my first student was Ashton Kutcher. And little by little, one celebrity after celebrity after celebrity. And little by little, end up working Fast and Furious, end up working with John Wick, with 8711. I start little by little getting involved in this world. I start bring jiu-jitsu to do a collaboration, more like an advisor. From advisor, I said, let me see what I can do. I become a fight choreographer. From fight choreographer, now I become a stunt coordinator. Now I said, I'm a stunt coordinator. Let's try see the next step. Who's second unit director? Maybe you never know, be a director for action film. But right now I direct 2 films. Don't direct 2 films. Stunt coordinator 2 films who come really good. One was a wrestling film, and the other
a wrestling
film. For high school kids in 1984. Nice. It was an amazing story. And the other one was a kind of horror film for teenagers, and both I was the main guy to do all the action. And the kids, what I love the wrestling, what the directing, the production love, they come to me for this movie. I ask when this happened. Was a true story. Oh, in 1984. I got 3 instructors in wrestling in 1984. And I come to them, what kind of techniques you used to teach at the time, and how I end up do the complete study about every technique, how the guys coach the techniques, everything. In base, when I get the lead actor, was a guy who was in Breaking Bad, the T.J. Miller. I said, you have to learn some wrestling. But in real life, he have little bell palsy. But the story is about a kid who have bell palsy become a state champion in wrestling.
Bell's palsy.
The Bell's palsy. He basically, like in real life, he have the bell palsy a little bit. And to find the right techniques for he able to do it, to make him look like wrestling was a challenge. And basically training all the other actors. I brought 20 high schools to educate them what kind of techniques allowed in 1984. I have to do that. The other training I did, the main coach, this actor never wrestled before. You have to teach him how to act like a coach and explain to him the name of the techniques. And the move come very success.
Nice.
From this move, I start getting more offers to other shows. And this other group I worked was the action come very success. And basically, little by little, I start learning. You understand how to put an action film together, all the way from create the fight scenes to how to hire the right stunts to do the fight scenes, to have
stunt people. Right?
Stunt people is very important. Doubles the stunts, to have a crew to be sure everything's safe. The wire work is fantastic when you understand how to work with your wire, the FX, the green screen, all these little things. Understand how to connect the guys who do explosion, car chase, everything. All these little things is things you're learning in a way to, because to do to be a stunt coordinator, you have to understand how to put a good action, how to film the action, how to edit and put the sound the action. All these little things is the basic understand. You have to understand how to create that little action. And it's almost like more you do, better you're gonna get. Yeah, I'm motivated because I did too. Have offers to do film more. And right now my next movie is called America Sicario, based on a true story about Lababi, who was a hitman for the Sicario, killed 1,000 people a year. And I'm gonna do all the action. Basically, the lead actor is this big Mexican guy. I want to make it simple, brutal, very bloody, and I'm excited to do this one. We're gonna do this
continuation, a continuation of your jiu-jitsu, just another ways, another levels, right?
No, I think
because of moving the body, and then how does it look with the cameras? It stimulates your mind.
Guys like it, the biggest company, the guys who was in Fast and Furious, Jeff Amada, he was my student actually. He trained for me all the way from Papa Bell, he and Daniel Lozano.
Jeff Amada, he was a fighter, right?
Jeff Amada, he specialized in knives.
Okay, never mind.
But he is the best one he know how to put the team together to put the action what he needs for. And he's amazing. I learned so much from him. But I think the number one company, the guys who did John Wick, is a company called 8711. I believe that some of the best guys in the business.
8711, yeah.
The guys amazing. It's two stunt guys who now both directors. Chad and Dave was the guys in the beginning doing little double of Keanu Reeves and this and that. They did a double of Brendan Lee when he died. One of the guys was his double. Was the same director of John Wick, a guy named Chad. And for me, it's just have fun and see how far I can push.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what I mean? I lose motivation, I quit, but maybe one day I can come a good directing action film.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a challenge.
It reminded me of, I don't know what year it was, but you and your brothers, you did, is it Bad Boys from Brazil?
was Bad Boys from Brazil. I think it's the worst movie.
Is it on YouTube?
I think it's YouTube for free because you don't need to buy these movies for free.
It was like in the 90s, right? Sometime like that.
Man, that movie was so bad, but it was so fun to do.
A young Rigan Machado and Machado brothers.
The fight scenes don't make no sense. The story don't make no sense. It was so funny.
Oh my God, I have to try to find it because it's a memory I remember seeing.
Was something fun at the time. I couldn't stop laughing. How funny.
The dad, the bodybuilder, what's his name? His son's name. So he had two sons, Gabriel.
Gabriel and Gabriel Vela.
Vela, yeah.
The other, Thiago Vela.
Thiago Vela, yeah.
Thiago Vela, I think he was in Abu Dhabi teaching. Now he's back in Brazil, and the other one I think back and forth Brazil and São Paulo or something like that. Good kids.
Yeah.
Was a student of Haya.
Gracie. Right. But he was their dad was in the movie too. I remember.
Yeah, his father was a huge bodybuilder, very successful bodybuilder in the past. He's Luis de Freitas, nice guy.
Brazilian, right?
Was Brazilian, but he's
half American or something.
Yeah, he grew up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember he born in Brazil, but been living here for 40 something years.
Yeah, amazing.
Good guy.
From Brazil, from the neighborhood in Brazil, asthma, went to the top of jiu-jitsu, taught all over the world, of course competed all around the world, doing movies, working in movies. What's the legacy when you think, like, what do you want to be remembered for?
I think it's not to I think the key for the Machados, we come with a philosophy, we come to this culture, we create a culture, say, hey, the only way we keep together as a brother is leave the ego outside. Leave the ego outside the door. And when we train, we help and motivate each other, whatever we do, support each other. This kind of culture between my brothers to learn how to push the ego outside. And we come number one as a human being, brothers. We have been this relationship alive. We never have any conflict or any problem or anything like that. Anything sometimes happened to me, I need any support, all force, I'm here to support you. What do you need? You know what I mean? And this is kind of something I tell people, like, don't let your ego interfere your life. Don't let greedy interfere your life. Because a lot of times problems you have, a lot of people, even my family, is ego, sometimes greedy, create separation. And I think we have chance to push all this on the side. We be everybody together 100%. It be 10 times better for family, 10 times better for the sport, for the students. You know what I mean? But sometimes life creates separation because ego, sometimes greedy, you know what I mean? Envy. That's basic what I tell people. Don't let these affect you. Try keep focused to be humble. Try keep wake up every day moving forward, not moving back, or not get stuck with your life. Whatever you do with passion. It's not for the money. You do with passion. I guarantee, like I tell people, you love jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu is going to love you back. You love life, life is going to love you back. Everything you put your heart, you're going to have good results. That's them.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for your
It's my
time.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Hopefully they have the Jiu-Jitsu World League events again when we come back from the COVID times.
Yes,
oh my God. And always such an amazing time, such a legend, for me. And
Thank you.
You and your brothers.
Let me know when it's coming out.
Yeah, I will.
I'll be the first one to watch.
Great. Thank you.
Nice to be here, my brother.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.